Imagine a tool that can write an essay in 10 seconds, solve a complex math problem in 5, and even write computer code for you while you make a sandwich. 3 years ago, this sounded like science fiction. Today, for most of us in this room, it's just a regular Tuesday. We are living through one of the most rapid technological shifts in human history. Today, I want to talk about the current state of generative AI in higher education. We aren't just going to talk about ChatGPT writing funny poems. We're going to look at three specific areas. First, the sheer scale of student usage. Second, the historic speed of adoption. And finally, using new research, we'll look at how educators are reacting and the impact this is having on our mental health. As a student navigating this technology myself, I've gathered data from the Higher Education Policy Institute, the Federal Reserve of St. Louis, and the journal Education Sciences to give you a clear picture of where we stand in 2026. Let's start by looking at just how many of us are actually using these tools. If you feel like everyone around you is using AI, the data confirms you're right. According to the Student Generative AI Survey in 2025, published by the Higher Education Policy Institute, AI is no longer a niche tool for tech geeks. The report found that usage has skyrocketed by 92% of undergraduate students reporting that they now use AI tools. But what are they doing with it? The narrative often focuses on cheating, but the data shows an evolution. Students are moving toward using these tools as legitimate study buddies. The survey indicates that the most common uses are explaining difficult concepts, summarizing long articles, and suggesting research ideas. In fact, the percentage of students who haven't used AI for these assessment support tasks has plummeted to just 12%. It has effectively become a standard school supply, as essential as a laptop or a textbook. While that 92% number is high, the speed at which we got there is even more shocking. We are adopting this technology faster than almost any other tool in modern history. In September of 2024, researchers Bick, Blandin, and Deming published an article for the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis titled The Rapid Adoption of Generative AI. They compared the adoption curves of AI against two other revolutionary technologies, the personal computer and the internet. Their findings were staggering. 2 years after its mass market introduction, the adoption rate of generative AI had already exceeded the adoption rates of both the PC and the internet at their same points in history. When the PC came out, it took years to reach the level of saturation AI reached in months. The researchers concluded that AI is a true general purpose technology, meaning it isn't just for one specific industry, it's reshaping labor, the economy, and education simultaneously. We're not just watching history happen, we are adopting it at record breaking speed. So, students are using it and the economy is adopting it. But what does this look like from the front of the classroom? I want to bring in a study published just last year in the journal Education Sciences titled AI in the Classroom: Insights from Educators. The lead author, Dr. Julie DeLello, surveyed hundreds of educators to see how they are coping. First, the digital divide between students and teachers might be smaller than we think. The study found that more than 92% of educators are familiar with AI. However, this familiarity is leading to drastic changes in how we are taught. About 35% of educators reported they have already redesigned their curricula to AI proof their classes. Means fewer assignments based on recall, which AI is great at, and more focus on critical thinking and in class application. Perhaps most interestingly, this study highlighted a policy gap. Over a third of educators said that their schools have no formal policy on AI, forcing teachers to make up their own rules regarding plagiarism and data privacy. Finally, we have to talk about the human element: mental health. Study found a double-edged sword. On one hand, AI can reduce techno stress by automating boring administrative tasks. But on the other hand, educators raise serious concern about social isolation. As we interact more with chatbots and feedback and tutoring, we risk losing face-to-face human mentorship that is central to learning. The study warns that while efficiency is up, the reduction in interpersonal interaction could lead to increased anxiety and isolation for students and teachers alike. In conclusion, the landscape of higher education has changed permanently, and it happened in the blink of an eye. Today, we discuss the massive, more than 90% usage rate among students found in the HEPI report. We looked at the Federal Reserve data showing this adoption is happening faster than the rise of the internet itself. And finally, we explored the educator's perspective, how they are redesigning curriculum and worrying about the mental health implications of a more isolated, automated learning environment. Whether we view generative AI as a threat to creativity or the ultimate productivity tool, the numbers tell us one thing very clearly. It's here and it's not going away. The challenge for us now is to ensure that while we use AI to do our work faster, we don't lose the human connection that makes education meaningful. Thank you all for listening.